we often have kind of two tracks, and we always want to be working on both, but there's the behaviour that we're seeing, which might be barking and crying and not settling, but then the emotional underpinnings of that. And it sounds like you've made great progress on the behaviour side of things, but the emotional underpinnings are clearly still there, aren't they? Is it he, is it, you say? She's very stressed still. Even though you're happy with the behaviour now, which again is brilliant, what we want to do is get her that emotional arousal level coming down. And the protocol that you would use with that, with separation anxiety in particular, is kind of a desensitization program. They are very difficult to do and very long-winded. It's a long road to be able to completely change her mindset of, I'm so stressed that you've left, to actually, I'm quite happy or relaxed that you've left. And especially with rescue dogs, because we don't know what has happened. It's like humans, isn't it? If there's severe trauma, it's not something that we can overcome quickly. But the fact that you've got the behaviour side, that's amazing. If you've been working with it, it's a credit to kind of the work that you've put in to kind of get to that point is beautiful. Many people can't get there with that kind of severe level of separation anxiety, so that's brilliant. And again, a desensitization program would be kind of what you want to be working on. Those kinds of problems for me are things that I would be working on kind of over a couple of weeks stuff. You can come in and kind of correct those behaviours quite swiftly, but then you're playing whack-a-mole, you might fix that but create an issue elsewhere. With like place training and sit-stay training, you're kind of like countering with obedience then, rather than having to rely on kind of overly aversive strategies, which, like I say, might fix it in the immediate, which might be required, especially if it's dangerous. But I think if you use protocols to kind of set yourself up for success a little bit, it's nice because you're not just telling her what you don't want, you're helping her understand this is what I want from you. If I'm hugging somebody goodbye, I just want you to sit and wait there. And then if she doesn't do that, that's what you're then challenging. I've asked you to do this and you're now not doing it, so I'm going to challenge that. And because by the time that hyper arousal has erupted, if you're now trying to deal with that, so much can go wrong, or like I say, create little issues elsewhere. Whereas and you just set that up in training scenarios kind of like this, of like, I know if I do this, that's going to get her to do that. Brilliant. Let's get her place staying, and we're going to go, so and then she goes and we're ready to handle, like, nope, back. And then it just builds that picture of like obedience comes first. Using that is always a preferable option for kind of behaviour stuff. Because again, the fact that she can do this like this is brilliant. It's clearly there. It's just helping a reminder that expectation is, no matter what's going on, we have these levels of expectations. Feels like it's random, but he's hyper focusing in on the pit bull. I'm sure you're kind of feeling that. And that to me says that there isn't randomness in his explosion. It's very calculated, and I see it really commonly with Rottweilers. They're so hyper tuned in with their kind of guarding roles, and they would be the things that I would be making a real mental note of like, when that happened, what was it that caused it? And watching it, there was a time in the car park where it was something new came into crossed kind of a key spatial boundary, and then in this situation, because he's quite a confident boy as well, that makes there's not a nice mix there, and it's neither fault, but that's just a classic example that not all dogs are going to be best friends. But that would be the kind of thing that I would be clocking if I was handling him, is spotting all kind of these other dogs wouldn't concern me, but when I see a confident kind of dog like this, that would be for me a real sign of I'm going to have to either be hyper focused or give this space. And yeah, I think that's just a really nice example of understanding your dog and not realising that not all dogs are the same, and therefore there's not going to be a one-size-fits-all situation. But that was a beautiful example there of I kind of saw it going, and then the lunge happened. And that's usually when I'm a bit faster, I would have stepped in and you could have addressed that there. But you getting better in tune with what those triggers are going to be game-changing for him.